Hey,
Hey,
welcome
episode 6
back.
of the Thursday Exchange. Welcome, people. Thank you guys for watching. It's exciting. Excited to be here.
Good to be back, my friend.
Tonight,
All
we
right.
have a very, very special guest, a friend of mine, Roseann Sureda. She's an award-winning singer, songwriter,
Talented
producer,
actress.
and what'd you say?
Talented actress.
Yes, she's a very, very talented actress too. Tonight we're going to have a lot of major topics of discussion, mainly focusing on spirituality tonight. So anybody who has any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to join the conversation.
Please, we welcome it.
We really do. And I really want to say thank you guys for all the love and support. We're seeing a lot of more views coming through, a lot more comments, and we really appreciate that. Well, it inspires us to continue doing this and going even stronger next time.
Sorry.
So, as we typically do on this show, we go over the current events of the week. And we always start with the fun stuff. So, this week.
Bring it on, buddy.
This week in news, the Hollywood sign turned into the Holly Boob sign.
I thought it was a joke when I saw that on the news. I was like, what? On the Colbert Report, I saw it last night. My mom she's like, what is that?
A lot of people out there thought it was something for breast cancer awareness. And I did too. I was like, oh, wow, they're doing this movement. You know, they're taking it all the way up to
I just thought it was photoshopped.
No, somebody actually six people scaled the mountains of Hollywood to post that B over the W, which they were charged with misdemeanors. They didn't technically vandalize.
It's almost worth it. I'm sorry.
They didn't vandalize it. They didn't spray paint the sign. They didn't break anything, but they put a B over the W, so it's Holly Boob.
Holly Boob.
Everyone loves boobs. Even chicks love boobs.
I will agree with you on that one.
So
babies like them too.
There was a $300,000 winner, okay, of the lottery in South Carolina. Man was hungry. We always talk about these winning cases, mainly because I want to win some money. So it's these cases always like jump up at me, like, talk about money. So the guy wins this type of money.
I just realized I never checked my lotto ticket that I bought like 2 weeks ago.
Maybe you won.
That would be interesting.
If you win, don't forget about the little people in your life.
Yeah, right.
So this guy wins the ticket, and he leaves the candy bar that he went into the store to buy behind. And when they were, I guess, interviewing him for the win, the guy was extremely disappointed about the candy bar. Like, are you kidding me? You could have bought out the whole goddamn store, and you're worried about the candy bar you left behind?
Just shut up. I'll beat you to death with a candy bar and I'll take your money. People are nuts.
People are really nuts.
So
I came across this other story. It's kind of ridiculous. And I've heard a lot of stories like this where people go to like the Salvation Army or the Lost and Found or whatever. So the city worker in Taiwan, he's going through basically sorting through donated clothes, and he happens to come across $10,140 in cash in an envelope. I mean, this guy was an honest guy, because he actually found the owner it belonged to and gave it back. It was a 72-year-old woman whose husband, kind of forgetful as he is, he put the envelope in the clothes on a trip to go to the bank and dropped off the money to the donation center before. And yeah, that wasn't what he intended to do with his retirement.
Felt after that, when he got home and realized his pockets were empty, he'd be like, oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
I can only imagine, man.
Talking about forgetful people.
That would be me.
A book was returned from the New York Library, 72 years overdue.
I think I might try to break that record, because I still have a book, I think, from the Poughkeepsie Library. I have to double check on that. Probably shouldn't say that out loud. They're going to come for me.
The FBI is probably listening right now. They're probably already kicking open the door in your apartment.
Adding it onto my, whatever.
But after 72 years, the guy owed $262 in overdraft fees because the fees were based from 1949, a one penny a day late charge.
Honestly, that's better than I thought because nowadays it's like, isn't it like a quarter a day or something like that?
Well, apparently New York libraries changed their system and they got rid of late fees. So the guy didn't even have to pay anything. But $262, I mean, he could have bought a lot of those books. Probably was a good read. I mean, I guess it was a biography of
Or he could have just held on to it and not returned it. At that point.
You might as well. You own the book, buddy. You own it. Just don't tell nobody.
It's like, where did you get this? I cannot speak about this. It's a secret.
Secrets, people. Secrets. So we're
now,
on to the stuff. What you got there?
Well, I was going to say something else that I came across, which I thought was more ironic than anything. But John Kerry, like he's the big push behind a lot of like the environmental movements and everything as well. He is caught defending his use of a private jet to go win an award for environmental conservation in Iceland, and is trying to find a way. Like, dude, like I think his argument was that if he had to sail everywhere, he would never get anything done. I'm like, well, that's what Zoom is for.
You know what? The hypocrisy behind these freaking politicians and celebrities that like they want to preach to us how to live, don't eat meat, use wind energy, don't use gas, don't fly, but they all have personal jets to go pick up McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make sense. You're burning more emissions than we do in a whole year in one night.
We could use that same reason for not doing things for so many different subjects. It's not even funny. But another thing that's kind of interesting that I saw was that Apple might be having some challenges coming up over the next few years. There's a couple of other stocks that are really pushing in as contenders. Garmin and what was the other one? It was Garmin and CrowdStrike and Legal MJ. So basically, legal marijuana stock sales have gone up. CrowdStrike, which is basically a cybersecurity agency, and Garmin, which everybody knows from like GPS, but they have a lot of other applications. Their stocks have increased. Like for example, CrowdStrike was I think 78% over the last year in terms of value, and Apple is kind of staying stagnant. So it's kind of interesting to see how it'll go.
I don't want people hating on me for this, but a lot of times with Apple, they're kind of douchey, overpriced for no reason. The whole idea is you got to keep on paying for upgrades. They're going to slow down your services and kill your battery life once they put out new products.
They'll force people who love them to buy other computers because of all their stupid dongles and attachments.
It's a lot of, and there's people that are like Apple loyalists, so I'm probably going to get like shanked to death.
I
walk to my car. I never was, because the way I look at it is I want to get the job done. I don't want to have to buy a million products and be like, can't even like have a plug-in or an adapter. It just,
until the newest one came out, it was fine. Like I was able to put in all the ports that I needed to. If I needed to put an adapter that gave like a multi-USB port, not a problem. But now with the new computers, everything's switching to a USB-C port. They got rid of all the USB drive ports. They got rid of the HDMI port. Every other port that you could possibly need on a laptop is gone. So you need to buy an extension in order to run that. And if one of those prongs on the side of the computer break, like mine did, it's basically useless.
Yeah. You know what, though? Talking about that, maybe our guests could, buy their next Apple model computer or phone once they get the Stimmy check, bringing a Stimmy back, baby.
Mm-hmm.
So
I wonder if we'll get this one because I didn't get the last one yet.
No, well, according to Biden, and this is what I'm telling you guys, keep your politicians accountable for what they say out their mouth. Can you read the words that are coming out of my mouth? Keep them accountable, because he claims he's committing to that $1,400 stimulus check. And he calls on all the House Democrats to do so. So if you believe it,
then again, he does have, majority in every branch of government right now. So I think, probably.
And that's where a lot of criticism should be put on him, because,
But it was like that with Bush a few years back too.
Oh yeah, well, we're not talking about Bush. Those are things of the past, baby. Those are things that have passed. Okay, so let's keep Biden accountable because he's got the House, he's got the Senate, he's got the presidency, and he talks big game. And he was, signing all those executive orders. Woo! Well, guess what? Sign that check over because people are struggling. So,
does anybody else find that completely ridiculous? The fact that the first year of every single new presidency is basically devoted to overturning the first year of the last president.
Yeah, I mean, we talked a little bit about this in the last podcast. We did,
I'm sorry,
but it is relevant, and we talk about the stimmy a lot too. So, one of the key things, the key facts about this new stimulus is a lot of the push of who's going to get it. Now, when Trump was president, I guess everyone got it under 150,000, and couples. If you were a couple and you made under $150,000 a year, you received it. If you were an individual and you made under $75,000 a year, you received it. However, I've been hearing speculation that if you're an individual now, you have to make under $50,000 a year. And if you're a couple, like you have a wife, husband, whatever, it's $100,000 a year. That's a major difference. That is like, what, a 50% difference in who's eligible? It's a significant. A lot of people who got the first, I don't believe will see the second. I mean,
I keep my fingers crossed because all I know is I'm going to be using it to pay off some bills, which brings me into another point is, you remember Susie Orman, the financial expert?
Oh yeah.
So she's been around for a while. I mean, the woman knows what she's talking about. She's tough as nails, but she was talking about different ways that people could misspend their stimulus. And so like there's 3 common mistakes that people should avoid once they do get it, if they get it, is not taking care of your bills and just going out and blowing it on a bunch of basically bullshit, which I've been guilty of in the past. Not building an emergency fund, and she recommends that you get a 1-year emergency fund. And this I agree with because having a simple car issue back in November knocked me out of sorts for about 2 months straight before I was able to kind of recover from it. And so definitely being able to use some of that to put towards like a rainy day fund. And then this last one, I understand the logic behind it. And if it were a perfect society, maybe. But I'm sorry, I'm not going to do it. It says if you don't need it, donate it.
No. If we needed a stimmy, we need a stimmy. Like, I'm sorry that if you're making $150,000+, guess
They're
what?
still going to take it because guess what? Money's money. And unless you're like a philanthropist.
Yeah. Listen, a lot of the, like, I guess the wealthy Trump supporters, when he was when he won, but when he passed the stimulus check, the first one, the $1,200. And I was like reading some of like the people on his like news feeds, and they were like all the, like, the big heavy duty supporters. And they were like, don't send it to me. I don't want that money. I don't need it. I don't want you spending my tax dollars. Okay, so you'd rather have your tax dollars spent on X, Y, and Z and sending the money overseas to foreign interest and things that we ain't going to benefit from.
And as we get more spiritual,
we're just going to let it go. You know what, though? Listen, talking about this, because it's really important to talk about what's going on in current society. So today I'm reading Chuck Schumer is basically trying to push $50,000 student loan forgiveness. And that's another thing that's a debatable topic where people are like, I paid my student loans off. Why shouldn't this next one get
them? And I respect them for that.
Exactly.
And I'm trying to, but guess what? Now coronavirus is here and everybody's financially
before coronavirus. This is one of the biggest crocs, one of the biggest crocs in American history. People, well, I mean, that's controversial me saying that, but it's crazy that you're expecting an 18-year-old or younger who's going into college to take out loans that are mortgage level
and to have an
interest
intellectual ability to understand what that means.
Do you know how many times when I was 18 years old I changed my major? So was I really prepared to pay for this debt 6 months after I graduated? Absolutely not. I'm not. Listen, you're responsible for what you do in life, but in a civilized nation that we want to embrace like education and like uphold people who get an education, we should make it more available to people in general, like not giving them like crushing debt that they need to make like, 100,000 plus a year so that they could pay it off. Like, it's crazy.
Well, think about it this way. I mean, if you have a child, I don't have any kids. I would love to have kids one day. Right now, not on the option. But if you have a kid, what do you want for them? You want them to succeed. You need to give them enough things that they have to work for towards themselves. But there are certain investments that you're going to make in that child that are going to cost money, that are worthwhile. And education is part of that. You invest in buying the books for your kids to go to school. You invest in buying them new clothes for school if you have it. The government should be investing in us like a child, because basically the new generation is what's going to keep everything else going once they're all in jerry chairs.
You would think, when you, and I don't, everyone talks about this, we don't want to be a socialist country. This is free enterprise, capitalism.
That's investment.
No, it is investing so that if it was up to me, I would continue education forever.
Yeah.
I can't afford it. I don't know anyone in my circle that could.
I would love to, because I love going to school.
I love learning. But part of the show is to educate the public. And if we ever say anything that's false or misleading, please identify us, call us out. Keep us accountable. Just like we're telling you to keep your politicians accountable for what they lied to you. I mean, maybe we're not intentionally lying to you. We're, maybe make a flub or a mistake, but keep us accountable.
But no, if it's inaccurate, just let us know and we'll fix it. But
there's some celebrity news we want to get into. Anybody who knows me knows I'm a massive Marilyn Manson fan. And this week has been extremely ridiculous for him.
Someone hurt your boo?
Well, apparently he's been hurting women. I mean, his ex-wife, Rachel Wood, or ex-girlfriend, basically accused him of abuse online, and all these other women came out, and other celebrities that knew him, I guess, came out. But my thing is, if they encountered or witnessed him abusing people, why didn't they step in and do something at the time? And why is some of these cases, and I don't want to, it's always horrible to tell the accuser to wait years, but this girl waited 7-8 years to say something.
Did they lift the statute of limitations on how long after the fact? Because I think there was like a temporary lift on something, like from commercials I've been seeing at night.
I thought it was like 7 years, but at the same time, like, we also have to listen to their side of the story, because abusers, especially in Hollywood, have been getting away with murder.
Not just in Hollywood,
Weinstein. Everywhere. When you're rich and famous, you can get away with anything. Weinstein got away for decades.
Any position of power.
Getting away with God knows what. Bill Cosby getting away with God knows what. R. Kelly. And
claiming to be the family comedian at the same time.
So at the same time, it's crazy. But from these accusations alone, they dropped his record deal. They canceled the shows he was already filmed in. They edited him out of the shows. So pretty much overnight, they destroyed his career based on accusations. Yeah. And, I always thought we were in a country of, innocent until proven guilty. But
not anymore.
People forget that in the 90s, he was the poster child for fear, and he kind of brought out the differences in religion and spirituality and all this stuff like this.
Don't think he doesn't.
No, but at the same time, anyone who looks at this man, they're not like, oh my God, like he looks like a cuddly teddy bear. You kind of know what you're getting involved with when you're dealing with a guy who's like a known drug addict. Though,
because even if you know what you're getting involved with, you don't deserve to be abused.
No, I'm not justifying abuse. I'm saying, like, there's got to be evidence, and you can't just cancel someone off the list. I mean, the same thing happened to Johnny Depp, where there's recordings of, Amber Heard, his ex-wife, beating him and cursing him out. So they pretty much canceled Johnny Depp. I mean, he lost the deals with the Pirates of the Caribbean. You don't see him now on what is the spinoff?
Him beating her or her beating him?
There was recordings of her slapping him and he's like, "Oh, you're slapping the shit out of me." He's like, "Oh, that didn't hurt," and curse him out. You hear glasses breaking, whatever. But because of her accusations against Johnny Depp that were non-proven, no audio recordings, he lost all these major gigs. Now he's a millionaire. Do I really feel sorry for him losing stuff? I do a little bit.
If he's
Because
innocent,
like, yeah, like who knows? But that's what I'm saying. That there's a lot of stuff going on now that's kind of like that. I mean, we'll get off this topic, but sad news of the week: Dustin Diamond. Everyone knows him as the child actor from Saved by the Bell, Screech. He passed away this week. Stage 4.
he was like
lung
my idol
cancer.
when I was in middle school because I was the big nerd. I still am.
You know, he had some infamous time in the past. You know, people remember the porn tape, I guess he released, where he had a stand-in play him. He admitted to. He also, last year, I don't know if you remember the infamous bagel guy who like confronted the woman at the bagel store saying, "I'm small, but I can fight." Him and Dustin Diamond apparently were going to do like a charity boxing match where they both bailed out beforehand.
They both probably got advice from their doctors, like, "You're gonna die."
It's really well. It's sad.
Well,
Literally, Dustin Diamond just found out. He literally just announced, I believe, 2 weeks ago, that
I didn't even realize it.
he was sick, and he went into to get checked up, and they said he had stage 4 lung cancer, and that's how quick it went. It's really sad, like how quick and how fragile.
I lost a close friend of our family from that a few years back, and it was just like from Christmas until like mid-January, all of a sudden it was like looking at a different person.
You want to know the real scary part about it all is, Dustin and his doctors, when they were talking, I guess in the 2 weeks, they were wondering like some of the issues because he didn't really have a family history of it. They were saying a lot to do with the black mold in hotel rooms that he stayed in for years, traveling the country, doing gigs and that. So it's something that we need to listen to. All the urban explorers listening tonight, all the people who travel into abandoned buildings and ruins, wear filtration masks when you can, because black mold, I mean, there's no guarantee that's what caused it, but it's just like smoking cigarettes. If you know what you're getting into,
this or any of those kind of things, like we're both big into urban exploration. And when you walk in there without a mask, you know you should not be in there, because regardless of corona, like you just should not be breathing that air.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not good for you, because like the moment you smell mold, it's inside of you pretty much.
Sometimes you don't even smell it.
Yeah,
but this is February, people, and we are celebrating Black History Month. I have so many people that was like, you guys gonna get involved with Black History? Of course we are. Black history is American history, and we're going to talk a lot about it this month. We're going to do a little segment each month on Black history, or this month, I mean, primarily. But we're going to go over some memorable figures. Okay, now shake your head if you don't want to listen, but guess what? You guys know damn well that you use these products every day that Black people invented. Garrett Morgan invented the 3-light traffic light in 1923. He's made roads safe ever since. Safer, I should say.
Money ever since.
Exactly. What would we do without traffic lights, people?
A lot more dead people. Oh, wait, or we could just drive like they do in like Vietnam, where everybody's like, "Yeah, I think they'll stop."
Louis Latimer. He invented the carbon light bulb. This is a longer lasting light bulb that we still use to this day in 1881.
Isn't it made out of like a cardboard filament or something like that?
I'm not a scientist, Stefan.
Neither am I.
I don't know. This one is dear to me, okay? Mark Dean. He's co-invented the color IBM monitor and the gigahertz chips for computers. What would we do without computers in color?
Have privacy?
Well, we want color monitors. Can you imagine watching a movie or anything off your computer in black and white? Or the fact of gigahertz and the speed and the RAM, basically what makes your computer go?
It's amazing how much of a change in progress there's been over the past like 20 years. Even like since I was a little kid, we had the Commodore 64. Like that was my first computer in our house. And like we had the big floppy disk that was actually floppy. And
It was actually floppy.
I try to tell it to my niece and nephew. They're like, floppy what? I'm like, a disc. They're like, discs aren't floppy.
James E. West, okay? The electric microphone, 1964. What would we do? This podcast wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for Dr. James E. West. Thank you, Mr. West. The real Mr. West is in the building.
We'd have to have subtitles for everything.
And it would be terrible. Washington Carver, I appreciate him probably more than anyone listening tonight. I love me some peanut butter.
Me too.
But a lot of people
that's not the only thing he invented, though.
No, he was a true experimenter with using crops. He pretty much he would trial and error crops for years before he ever released anything. And he came up with a ton of products. You know, he came out with different inks, soaps, dyes, synthetic rubber, and so many others. And a lot of these things were released after 1914.
Well, that's the fun thing about a lot of those kind of inventions. A lot of them are accidents, you know, not just with his, but like some of them are deliberate, but some of them are like, oh, let's try this and then see what happens. And you're like, oh, well, that could be used for something else. Like Silly Putty, for example. I mean, Silly Putty was one of my favorite toys growing up, and that was a straight up mistake. They threw stuff in the garbage can, and then the next day when he went to look, it was like, what's this gooey crap?
Hey, this guy, anyone listening, anyone who grew up in the 90s or had kids in the 90s or whatever in the 90s, you're going to know this man, Lonnie Johnson, okay? He was just bored, free time, working at NASA, the Jet Propulsion Lab. He came up with what we know now as the Super Soaker. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. In the 1990s, the popularity skyrocketed, earned over $1 billion in retail sales. We all know the Super Soaker.
Largely due to little punks like me. And also caused terror to, you know, couples with Yorkshire Terriers in their cars. Apparently, we thought it was a wonderful idea one day to, my friend and I, fill up our Super Soakers and go camp out like snipers behind the guardrail of a small bridge and shoot the cars as they were coming by. We were probably 10 at the time. Unfortunately, we didn't plan on their window being open and spraying the driver, the passenger, and the little Yorkshire Terrier that was in their lap.
Oh, my goodness.
She was not too pleased. Not pleased at all.
You know what? Lonnie Johnson is probably shaking his head somewhere right now. Disappointed in you, Stefan.
That or he's going,
yes, it's exactly what I made this for bastards like you.
If it gets hot out.
So this is the last segment for Black History Month I want to get into. Very fellow to me is the art of acting. Now, one of the greatest of all time, Sidney Poitier. First African-American actor to win an Academy Award for the 1964 film Lilies of the Field.
And let's not forget the other one that everybody remembers him for. Who's coming? Oh, brain fart. Say the title for me, please.
Yeah. Guess Who's Coming to Dinner?
Thank you.
And A Raisin in the Sun. Those are other classics, but he's a legendary actor, and he should be remembered as such. And another one. Now, this is a film one of my favorites, actually. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about it. Maybe you'll know without me saying anything. The first African-American to have a starring mainstream role in a horror film. This is a classic, guys. It's a
He doesn't die immediately, right?
Not at all. George A. Romero's classic, Night of the Living Dead, Dwayne Jones. Night of the Living Dead is, if you're a horror fan and you don't know this film, just stop right now. Don't watch any more horror. You need to see it. It's a black and white film.
And don't expect something that's not cheesy. It's definitely a cult classic.
It's a cult classic. I really appreciate every bit of the movie. And the fact that it's in black and white makes it so much more creepy.
Apologies. I'm thinking of Return of the Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah, no, this is in black and white. This is some good stuff. But on to the next segment, people. You guys ready? Plans for Valentine's Day yet?
Sabotage.
All right. 10 days away, okay? So you guys better get ready. What are you waiting for? All right? Now, a lot of people out there, I'm seeing like ads for diamond rings and like big bouquets of flowers. My girlfriend's looking at me right now, like with the evil eyes, expecting these things. Big boxes of chocolate, you know, gifts. Apparently now they give gifts for Valentine's Day. Well, listen, guess what?
Nah, that's overrated.
I got some suggestions for all of you tonight so you can save a few bucks, okay? Buckaroos, pesos, whatever you want to call them. I'm going to help you save some cash, okay? Maybe when that stimmy comes in, you could treat her out to, like, I don't know, Red Lobster or something. Make it special. But until that happens, guess what? Let's go cheap, people. How about some breakfast in bed?
And thank you. And I just saw a comment come through. Thanks, Teresa. She was saying that our shows have been great. Sorry to cut you off, but
thank you. So how about some breakfast in bed? Don't think about yourself. What does she like or what does he like? You know, do something that they like. What about the guy?
I don't know.
Don't you? I mean, I don't know. Apparently now, this is a topic off a topic. When you said, what about the guy? Apparently now is socially acceptable and it's becoming very popular for actually the woman to propose to the man.
I've been seeing it happen more often. I mean, as long as it comes out and you guys get married, I don't care who does it.
I'm kind of a traditionalist when it comes to that. Like, I'd feel weird if anyone, like, I feel weird in general that I would have to get on a knee and bow and do anything like that. But it'd be really weird if a woman did it to a man. But it happens. So no hate there. If you guys want to be with each other forever, I mean, if you're getting on a knee,
what
probably chances are.
Expensive kind of ring could we encourage them to buy along with that proposal?
From a gumball machine? Okay, so after you take this woman out, give her some breakfast in bed, okay? Keep it really romantic. You know, decorate the plate a little bit. Get some little flowers from the dollar store. Or just, you know, find some pretty grass and throw it on a plate. Whatever you're going to do, go for a scenic hike afterwards. Find a local park, a scenic hike.
Mark your GPS in case she's crazy.
Yes. Go on a nice exercise. I mean, it's COVID. We don't want to be stuck in the house all day. Fresh air, people.
My brother-in-law actually did that when he went on the first outdoor date with my sister. They went hiking, and he's like, I don't know this chick. I'm going to leave it open on my computer where I was, leave a little note there in case I go missing. I'm like, wow, you're very trusting.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, don't do that. I mean, if you're meeting someone offline for the very first time, always like tell a friend, hey, I'm meeting this guy in public.
If somebody asks you to meet in the woods for your first date, yeah, you know, hey, you got on that one.
Hey, you see that cliff over there? No, like, no, don't do that. Like I can fly. Yeah. You could also, let's get romantic. You know, nowadays we're so used to texting everybody and calling everybody on the phone. Texting is like a big thing. Ugh. Exchange some romantic love letters with one another. Dig deep. Say how you feel. What you like about each other.
They
Make it funny about what you dislike.
You, though. That's the only thing. Because just be careful what you write.
If you love someone enough that they already know the bad shit about you, they're going to already say it to whoever. They're already recording you sleep while you're sleeping.
And if you don't, avoid written evidence.
I guess. But
I'm kidding.
I don't know if it holds up in court. But at the same time, like I said, they can see you sleeping. They see you when you're sleeping. They know when you're... They're basically Santa Claus. Okay? You can't hide shit from anyone you're with for long enough, especially if you live together.
If you can, you're a sociopath. I'm sorry, but you are. Like,
on to the next one. Have a game night. You know me. I'm master of games, but a lot of people don't know that.
You're a Monopoly madman.
I love Monopoly. You know, but there's other games out there. There's chess.
4:30 in the morning. We're all like, we need sleep.
Yes, but there's so many games out there. You know, you don't have to do checkers and like chess. You could there's tons of other games. There's so many other games out there that you could play. Make it romantic. And honestly, chances are you haven't been playing them recently. So when you wipe the dust off of them, it might actually be exciting this year.
Play Uno.
Exactly. Or some video games you have.
Spice it up with some rum.
Exactly. A movie marathon, maybe. Netflix and chill. A lot of people say that there's a lot
of type of marathon.
Listen, I'm giving ideas for the brokest of the brethren out there.
Cook a meal. Like if you know how to cook, please. Like I've used that many times because
that's what is more romantic?
Creative field, you don't have a lot of money. You got to come out with ideas. And if you can cook, it's useful.
What is more romantic than a couple cooking together? Like a good meal. Like I'm not talking about like hot dogs and ramen. I'm talking about like, making a steak dinner, she's making homemade mash or, keeping it real romantic. You're feeding each other with a spoon, spanking each other's tushy real quick.
It's a different type of spoon.
Yeah.
On to the next.
So, set the mood. Play some nice romantic music, whether it's jazz, some soul, Marvin Gaye, R&B, that old school stuff. Yeah. You want to have some fun. You want to like really lighten the mood, make the house candle lit, make it smell good. Do this before Valentine's Day, maybe like, that Friday before, so the house doesn't, stink. But this whole idea is to save money. If you have money to spend, go blow it, people. But if you have money, chances are you're already a cheap son of a bee, and you probably already do these things, even though you're loaded. So, the whole idea
then
is to make this Valentine's Day less materialistic. I'm sick and tired of like, it shouldn't be another gift giving holiday. Let's make it less about the gifts and more about each other.
As soon as Christmas was over, literally a few minutes after midnight, I'm pretty sure they already started stocking the Valentine's Day goods on the shelves in Walmart.
You want to know something crazy? I actually was out on Christmas Eve shopping, and I was looking for last minute Christmas stuff. And the aisles were all the last minute, like, it was like, the body wash kits. It was all Valentine's Day shit. Like they were preparing me to spend money for Valentine's Day.
Every year, I think they drop it by a day or so. So like in 10 years from now, it'll probably be like,
Halloween, you're going to see like roses next to like the pumpkins. It's like, they just want to get you early. It'll be 4th of July and Halloween stuff will be set up everywhere. Yeah.
It's a little ridiculous. Like you look at like the way we have holidays in this country, like some of them are based around religion. Most of them originally were, but now it's just such an extravaganza of people, like, what can we sell?
Exactly. So in our last segment here, we talked about the couples, how to save money and how to have, a non-materialistic day. What about the single folks, people? What about them? Well, why don't this day you invite some friends over? Maybe some single friends over. I'm not telling you to have an orgy.
Always want the girl to propose marriage. If she wants to ask someone out on a date, trust me, most guys would be okay with that.
Yeah, have some friends over. Maybe create an account. Maybe right now. Not now. After the show, go create an account on one of those, dating apps.
And a suspiciously hot girl from somewhere nowhere near you contacts you. Don't answer it.
It's scary. Girl from like 6 hours away is like, hey, sexy.
How you doing?
Join me on, whatever. Instagram.
That. Use your imagination.
Use your imagination. But like I said, don't make this a lonely day. Make this a day to push yourself to do something out of your comfort zone. Maybe go to a place where other single people may be. And I mean, now we're in COVID season, so it might not be as easy.
Or go to a place where there's people dating instead of prank.
There you go.
Actually, don't do that. You'd probably get shot.
So tonight, the main topic of discussion we're getting into now. We talked about all the upcoming events and do's, but now we're getting into spirituality. A lot of people out there, they mix spirituality and religion as one and the same. Now, you could be religious and spiritual, but if you're spiritual, that doesn't necessarily mean you're religious. There's a difference.
One does not beget the other.
Exactly. So like for the most part, primary, if you have a belief in God, and you actively participate in an organized religion, this could be Islam, Judaism, Christianity, Buddhism, the other million religions out there. That could be one option. The other is you're non-religious at all. This is just something that, makes you feel one with the universe primarily. So you don't have to necessarily follow any of these guideline religions with rules and regulations. but you see the world in a bigger picture sense, that maybe you're not alone in this universe, and there's something greater than us, and you're
Well, you
connected
think
to it.
about it, like if it brings you peace and it makes you a better person, then I mean, you got two pretty good positives right there for why you should keep with it, man.
Mm-hmm. I mean, these non-religious experiences, they could be anything from quiet reflection, you know, going out with a friend, meditation, yoga, you know,
For me,
private
it's being
prayer.
in the woods or being near water. I feel
Mm-hmm.
much more in touch with God or spirituality or whatever you want to call it. Like I'm Catholic, but I mean, I feel more connected to that part of my life when I'm out in nature than I do when I'm inside of a building.
I was also raised Catholic, and for the most part, as an adult, I identify myself as more of a spiritual person.
Okay.
I don't follow, a list of rules that I believe are going to make me a better person. However, I feel like
But they do
everything
happen
is
to
for the
match the
greater.
rules that are, laws, so it kind of works out well.
Some of them do. I mean, there's deeper rules that I don't necessarily follow or believe, but I do know that they were at a time when religion, I believe, was created. Now, a lot of people might disagree. These rules were to keep people in line in a
Of
way.
course.
I mean,
To some degree, yeah.
people beyond that, if Darwin's theory, you would go around the strongest man taking over anything you wanted, robbing whatever you wanted. And these rules made you have consequence for your actions.
Caveman Valentine's Day. What?
Yeah. No. So that's exactly, that's my personal belief. It's nothing I'm pushing on anyone else, but spiritually, to me, like I sometimes want to feel grounded. Like my meditation is one of the reasons why I love hiking and urban exploring. It's like a sense of peace, being in the environment, seeing how things come back to nature. These buildings crumble and decay, and like they grow moss and, trees through them. And I just feel at peace, relaxing, So in my spirituality, it's like how we're all connected in a way. So if you do harm to your neighbor, you do harm to, the environment, you're doing harm to yourself.
And there's the other part of it, and maybe people will disagree with me to some degree on this, but if you follow your religion and you do the best you can with that, that's great. And your views are not always going to match other people's views. That's understandable. But if you start using it as a justification for treating other people harshly and for being unkind or even hateful towards them, then you're not practicing your religion. Unless you're like a Satanist, because they all preach about doing what you would want done to you.
Well, even in that comment about being a Satanist, even that's not true. Their values are more about self-indulgence. I research, I researched some things about, theology. It's not like I'm a Satanist, but at the same time, it's a lot about self-indulgence and, in a way, being your own God. Not looking up, but always looking forward.
Basically, hedonism.
You have a belief in, higher strength and living out your id, So that's really what that comes down to. But like I said, for a lot of people, it's different. And there's so many different things. Like there's a lot of positive benefits of having spirituality, increased compassion, they say studies have shown, strengthen relationships, improve self-esteem.
Yet more of that.
Yeah, like who doesn't want more of that? But I mean, the downside is a lot of people, they say, become depressed in ways.
Why do they say that?
Well, more for the organized, when people are involved in organized religions, a lot of times studies say that there's increased levels of guilt and shame for things that they necessarily don't follow. Like they break a rule and now they feel bad about it. I don't want to burn in hell. I was born this way. Now what do I do?
Needs you to be a better person. It's not necessarily a bad thing, though.
Well, like I said, there's some things about religions that people, feel are wrong, even the people in them. And over time, this is another study too, where spirituality is in the incline, where people identify as more spiritual than religious, as religious in these are industrial countries where they're feeling that it's more of on a decline. Because think about all the things that have happened over the past few decades where like religious leaders were, manipulating and abusing their parishioners.
In fact, but yeah,
People are turning to science, which it is one thing over another, but they're still holding on to the religion. But like I'm saying, it's like a big balancing act where the two.
And I think that being somebody who questions your faith also is not necessarily a bad thing, because I mean, if you just believe things blindly, yeah, they have the whole proverb about like, believing without seeing is better. The thing is that if you're just rushing blindly in, it's very easy to become a lemming and just run off the side.
Yeah, it's the main question though. When you're thinking about spirituality and you really want to dig deep, there's a lot of like those fundamental questions that we all think. Yes. Why am I here? Who am I?
Who are you?
Who am I? Where are we going? You know what I mean? So like, I'm going to ask you a series of questions. We're going to do a little bit of a study here ourselves. We're going to see how this flows here.
Game show music.
Now, I want you to answer these questions as quick as they come to your mind. And I want you to think about them, yet give me the first thing that comes to mind.
All right.
What is God?
The man upstairs.
Why should we believe in God?
I don't know if you necessarily should. I personally do. But I think it gives you something to look forward to after death, and it gives you a moral code to go by, hopefully.
What is the harm in not believing in God?
Feeling alone, lonely, lost, having a poor moral compass for some people. Not everyone. There are plenty of people who I've met who are atheists or non-theistic who act more religious than some of the Christians and Muslims and Jews that I know. So, go figure.
Can a man or woman lead a good life, virtuous life, be charitable, truthful, and noble, work for the best welfare of the community, and die a good person without aspiring for anything beyond this life?
Yeah, I mean, everybody has free will.
All right, so these questions are going to be more impactful, a little quicker, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Why is poverty and suffering in this world?
I think you can look at it as a lesson to learn from, or as punishment, as some people view it. I personally view it as just an inevitability that we have to work through.
What is the relationship between science and religion?
I don't think that they necessarily have to conflict, because you can't deny the truth of like specific scientific findings that they've like found, like fossilized records. Like I did homeschooling when I was a kid. I know this isn't a quick answer, but sorry. I did homeschooling as a kid, and it was a Christian university or company that provided the curriculum. And in the science class, they had a picture that was doctored to make it look like there were human footprints next to a dinosaur footprint in fossilized stone. And I'm like, no, that doesn't work. So I don't know.
I mean, to add to what you're saying, I actually worked with this woman years ago, and she was a denier. How you talked about, the basically the flat Earth people.
Mm-hmm.
They denied that the Earth was, a circle or sphere, and she was one that believed, because she was so devout in her religion and how like basically the Bible was only a few thousand years ago, the dinosaurs could not have existed. She did not believe in anything prior to
and if that brought her peace, then God bless her. But
that's the problem with society. And beyond that, you have to. Science is, if we don't learn and believe in things, we will not. Medications. We're going to be teaching false things to the future generations. Like that, to me, like that's like the flat earthers. I can't support that. I can't. No. You can. If you're teaching people...
If you've traveled around the world, you can't support that, man.
All right, so I'm going to get back in here really quick. What are we all afraid of?
I'm afraid of pink bunny rabbits.
But what are we all afraid of?
Purple ones?
God.
I think we're all afraid of not mattering, not having a place, not being accepted.
I kind of agree with that. When is war justifiable?
I mean, some people would say when you have a bigger gun, but I would say, I mean, war is a terrible thing, and there's a quote, I forget who says it, but they basically say it's the extension of politics when words no longer suffice, or something along those lines. And it's unfortunately it's true. You get to a point where people just stop talking, which we almost got to that point recently, and it almost became much worse than it was.
Yeah.
So escaped a bullet on that one.
How would God want us to respond to aggression and terrorism?
Depends on what religion you are. In Christianity, they say turn the other cheek, and then
see, this is to stop you real quick. It's only what you believe.
Oh, me personally?
Personally, yeah.
Okay,
for the exercise, not what any religion or any other person might believe.
So
how would God want us to respond to aggression and terrorism?
With compassion and understanding.
What happens after we die?
I think you go on to the next life. I personally believe you go to heaven or hell. But you know what? My answer to everybody is you'll find out when you die.
Describe heaven and how do we get there?
I mean, in the biblical sense, heaven is like, where God and the angels and everybody is. How do we get there? By following what we were taught to do. Also, just being a good person and just trying to show love.
What is the meaning of life?
Love. And not sappy love, just compassion, love, caring for humans around you as well as yourself and all life forms.
What is the greatest quality humans possess?
I think adaptability and endurance.
What is one wish you have for the world?
People stop fighting.
What is it that prevents people from living up to their full potential?
I can't speak for anybody else, but usually it's an issue with confidence in yourself or a past trauma or whatever the case may be. Like there's something in your life that is a stumbling block for you that you can either turn it into a challenge to grow from, or you can use it as something to hold you back.
Are we all one?
On a metaphysical quantum kind of level, yeah. I mean, we're made of the same stuff that dinosaurs were made out of. We breathe the air that came out of another animal's mouth. It's a constant, in the physical sense, it's a constant revolution of energy. So, yes.
As obscene and wild as these questions are, I'm going to take them one gear quicker. I need them a little faster. We're going to get to the point, people. But I feel like you guys are getting it. I feel it. We're going to peel back these layers, okay? I need them
Am
quick.
I an onion?
Yes. Do you seek social approval?
Unfortunately, yes.
Where does your happiness come from?
Do you?
Of course I do.
I think everybody does. What was the second question?
Where does your happiness come from?
Family, friends, and pursuing art and exploring new things.
How often do you show your temper?
I get aggravated sometimes, but really angry, not that often. You have to really do something pretty significant to get me to that point.
How do you want to be remembered?
As a good man who tried to help his community. An artist.
Who are you?
I'm this guy right here. I really don't. I mean, who am I? My name's Stefan, and I'm a photographer, and I'm not really sure how to answer that question, other than the obvious.
The whole point of the matter is, that whole little questionnaire I did is to really break down the details of what makes you who you are and what you want and what you thrive for. We all are going to have different reasonings and beliefs. Any person listening to this won't have the same answers. So for you to pass your judgment on others and say general answers of what everyone's fearful of, you'll never get a steady answer. So the whole point of the spirituality that we're trying to embrace basically is to understand that we're all not alike and we're all different, so don't preach as I feel like I'm preaching now, but we're all connected. This is our, planet. Embrace your fellow neighbor. And, in a spiritual sense, understand each other.
And I think honestly, ask yourselves, like, when you believe something vehemently with all your heart, all your soul, someone comes along and tells you that you're wrong, it's absolutely bullshit, like, no, nonstop. How do you feel? Like, what does that feel like inside of you? You're causing that same thing to anybody else if you treat them that way.
And a lot of these questions, like I said, feel like they're hard hitting for anyone to hear because they're deep. They're, who am I? Why am I here? Why am I in this universe? I mean, we all have fears. A lot of the same fears you had, I have. I mean, just recently, I released the book. It's online, and I got my first kind of questionable review on it, and it bothered me because I'm like, oh man, I'm in for a long road as each one of these reviews come. I'm gonna the criticism, the doubt, all these other things come over you. But now that you know what to expect, in a way, I should be preparing myself for it. At the same time, who am I to care? I released the book. I should be proud. There's a big majority of people who have never done that. And I feel like a lot of people, they're afraid to move forward. Like the things that I think hold a lot of people back is because their fears of what other people will think. Will they be accepted?
I think that's what holds everybody back to some degree.
So I think we're about to announce our guest. When our guest is ready, we have the beautiful and talented Roseann Sureda. She's an award-winning singer, writer, producer, and actress, amongst many other things.
She worked with us on our last film project. Well, Oath to Injustice.
Oath to Injustice. She played a character in that. My history with Roseann goes back a few years. She actually, her and her band played for the Hudson Valley International Film Festival. It was our first year. I was super nervous, and she was one of the talented people we had there that really helped the event come together, because the first thing that the audience saw was Roseann, her band, killing it and putting on a great performance. And it gave me the confidence, because people now took our event so much more prestigious and serious because of her talent. So I'm going to bring her on, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the show.
Hey,
well,
Roseann.
hello.
Hello.
Looking great.
Good evening. Thank you so much.
You're
Hi,
welcome.
Charles. Hi, Stefan.
How are you doing? How are you holding up?
I am holding up. I am really holding up. It's been a rough day.
Oh, so what's going on?
Well, I haven't told anybody except for family, of course, but I contracted COVID. I'm trying to get
oh my God.
Last month. Unfortunately, I am having what they call long COVID symptoms.
Wow.
The exhaustion.
And what is that exactly?
Well, everybody's different with COVID when they get it. Some people just get it, they have no symptoms. They don't even know. That's how I got it, because my boyfriend didn't know he had it. He was working at someone's house. We don't even know if that's the person that, we don't know where it came exactly. Wow. But he had no symptoms. So we were contacted that someone was positive, that we were around, that we should get tested. As you know, some people may not know, but I'm a senior advocate, and I'm a licensed practical nurse. And so I do strictly.
And thank you for that, because that's especially now, man. Like that's a hard field to be in.
Music and the seniors, the elderly, they're my heart, and those are my two real passions in life. And so I go in there. So as soon as I got the call, I went and got a quick COVID test, and I was shocked because all my friends will tell you that I'm the bleach queen. Way before COVID, I they go like, we can go to Roseann's house because that place is always sterilized. Anyway, so I was very shocked because I had no symptoms until 2 days after I found out. And then I had a terrible cough, fire. My chest was on fire, and heaviness. It was bad.
Wow.
And
Scary.
thank God my doctor gave me the drug. I don't know if you've heard of it, ivermectin, that they're talking about now. They just
Heard
went
of it, but I don't know much about it.
the CDC, yeah, the doctors that have done studies. Actually, it's a parasitical drug, and but they found that it can help prevent or lessen the symptoms, and they're trying to get it approved now to be given. Just just like you're going to get the shots, you could get that drug,
Wow.
faster than you can get your shot, and it could help prevent it. Just like anything, we don't know that the shot isn't going to prevent us from getting it.
Yeah.
It's gonna. I'm trying to. This is my first
Oh, please.
time doing this, but anyway, so you can hear I'm hoarse. Now, I've been recovering. I've just been suffering with some dizziness from the COVID that they said could last a while, low blood pressure. So when I bend down, I get very dizzy, or I can just feel lightheaded all the time. But that's been improving. And but the exhaustion, I went back to work, and I can work a couple hours, and I feel like I've been run over. So that can last, unfortunately, a very long time, they said. But that's manageable. But then last night when I went to see a client, I thought I was just overheated because I have to do treatments on them. And I have to, it's physically, you have to exert yourself. And I got very dizzy, but I got short of breath.
And this is long after you've technically.
Now it's been a month
infected.
since
Yeah.
I that I knew I was COVID. I'm not positive, so I can go to work. I'm cleared to work, but I have those symptoms that could last, and they just tell you take it easy if you have a problem. But then, and I started coughing. When I'm very exhausted, I will notice that I'll start coughing again, but it's not continual. Anyway, long story short, today I'm at a client taking care of her, and I start feeling short of breath, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? I got out of there. I went to have physical therapy, and my chest was burning, and I was having.
Did they do any X-rays on your lungs or any CAT scan or anything?
No,
like that?
they did not. They did not do X-rays.
I would.
So I got an emergency appointment because I was having chest pain as well, and so you worry about that.
Wow. It's really important.
Go on.
Sorry. Now, it's really important that you're letting the audience know your symptoms and what you went through and what you're going through currently, because
a lot of people don't think it's real.
A lot of people don't think it's real, and there's a lot of false information going out there. So it's very informative to let people know that the severity of what's going on. I really appreciate it.
I'm very private. The people who know me, I'm very outgoing. You know that, Charles and Stefan. I love everybody, and I love that thing about love. That's the most important thing in life, love. If we could all just love each other and accept each other for who we are, and this world would be amazing. We wouldn't have half the problems if we could accept people the way they are. And I just had to put that in, Stefan, because I really touched me. But with the COVID, I didn't want to, and if you notice, I'm not political. I don't want to get into political discussions with people. I just mainly about love. love everybody, support everybody. That's who I am. And I am opinionated. The people who know me will say that. And, but I try to do it in love,
Yeah.
and I'm teachable. It's very important to be teachable in life. We all have our moods. I tell everybody, I'm the greatest person until you piss me off. Okay. I'm just being real.
I think that goes for a lot of people.
I love the Lord, and I'm like, but don't put me in a box, because that's not the way I am. I try to
Very few
represent
things.
it's best.
Yeah,
I'm real, and that's it. And with this
exactly.
COVID, I didn't want people to know, because I didn't want to get into all these, have people start putting things on my wall, and and also it was a very hard time. And my boyfriend got it. Family members got it. It
What
was
ran through
very
your mind when you found out?
I was like, I don't believe this. It happened to me. I'm so freaking careful. It's like, come on. How do I get it? I'm always anal. Everybody teases me about it. And so how did I get it? First of all, and I was scared.
That's a lot of question, like people use as a reason for like the whole mask thing. I personally think wear the mask. I mean, if it works in Civil War for preventing people from getting infections and dying, why would it suddenly stop being true? But it's quite often used as an argument. Like if you are somebody who's careful and you still get it, they are like, well, then do they really work? And it's such a hard thing to argue with them.
Well, now I don't know exactly. Well, because it's airborne and it's drop. As a nurse, I'm going to tell you, you get it. If somebody,
I worked in medical too, so I understand.
you're a medical, so it's airborne, and that's one reason. And but the thing is that it's very scary, and Stefan, knowledge is a dangerous thing sometimes. So nurses, doctors,
on the rabbit hole.
You're thinking, your mind's going, and forget about it. And I think the thing that scared me the most, because I lost my voice, and I'm a performer, I'm a vocalist.
That's like me with my eyes.
Right.
Wow.
So that was a big scare. Also, I have underlying health issues, and there we go. So I've been through a lot, as you guys know, from my testimony from how I made my music video, and not walking for 5 years after a car accident, and being in pain 24/7, and which I still continue. And
now you work as an LPN, as a nurse. Yeah.
I can't. I only do hospice, and I specialize in hospice cases and Alzheimer, dementia. That's
what I
my
work
specialty.
mainly. Yeah.
That was my love, but anything with the seniors, I do it. The vets, everything, I'm going to help them. And they are the forgotten.
Yeah.
And so I'm a big advocate for our seniors and helping them. And I worry for them now. First of all, not only our seniors, I want to make known, in healthcare alone has gone down the toilet, okay, over the years.
It's gotten horrible.
But it's terrible.
It's gotten horrible.
And I feel for both sides. But something has to be done. You need an advocate, whether you're a senior or not. And if you don't ever go to the hospital alone. Always have. And try and stay out of the hospital.
Yeah.
Now,
if you have to go, though, like by all means, go to the hospital if it's something important. But yeah, bring someone with you.
So Roseann, I want to. What were you gonna say?
Go on.
No, I was gonna say, like, I wanted.
That was the best place I was going. I literally would have to be dying to go to a hospital, and unfortunately, I wouldn't do it. So, but you need to be smart, okay? Because you can't wait. Like I said to my doctor, I went right away after physical therapy, My chest is burning. I'm sitting here, my chest is burning, and thank God I could still talk. I
Yeah.
got my teeth examined. My doctor gave me an inhaler, which I've never had to use, but I do because of my lungs are so inflamed. Now, 2 days
Yep.
ago, I felt fine, and now, I mean, didn't hurt like that. But I said to her, I'm not going to wait until it's so bad. Like, I do know of somebody that waited too long,
Yeah.
and now they're in ICU, and so you have to be smart. That's all I
Yeah.
want to say about this. This is serious, whether you believe it or not, people. It's
It's real.
I'm a real person. It's
Yeah.
here. It happened to
I mean, I
someone that
quarantined for a week and then got tested before even coming to visit my mom for the same reason, because it's like, it's not a joke, unfortunately.
no, because too many people are asymptomatic, and
Yeah.
this is the danger. Nobody knows what's going on.
Yeah.
So I would
Sucks for dating,
encourage
though.
every.
I'll tell you that. It sucks for dating.
Oh yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely sucks for
Okay.
dating. But you know what? That's where you use your creativity.
Mm.
So you can invent new things.
Exactly. So I wanted to
That's all.
go. I wanted to go back to, you were talking about COVID, but how has COVID changed the music industry and performing for you?
There is no industry really. There's no
Yep.
performing. This is going to be my first um, Valentine's Day. Everybody knows that I do a Valentine's Day. I'm all about love. All my album is about love. That's what I talk about all the time. That's my heart. To shine the light on loving each other, supporting each other, and it's just terrible. We can't make a dime. Performing is where we made our money. You don't make your
Yeah.
money on the streams,
Yeah.
and you don't make money, out there unless you're out there with the public. That's when they buy your album, and that's where you make money on the venues. The venues are losing out. I mean,
It's been a
it's
whammy
like
for
how it's supposed.
every event has been like decimated by it.
Wow.
Mhm.
So,
It's very disheartening. So you have to reinvent yourself, and that's what I'm trying to do. And I'm lucky that I have people on my side that are trying to help me to do it. Right now,
for,
it's a little hard. I don't have any energy to do it. I have enough energy to get to my clients, make sure they get their medications and get their treatments done, and then I leave. I'm in 2 hours and I'm done. My body is just shot. So
wow. So for the audience members who don't know you, what kind of music can you classify yourself as? I know you're mixed genres and you're mixed bag. So
I would say adult contemporary, which includes but I'm known to sing. I do a jazz cabaret show, and but
I love that
then
kind.
I'll put and then I'll do a '60s show with all my favorite '60s. I'll do the Supremes. I'll do this, and I really tailor it. But my album, I'm a singer songwriter, and a producer arranger. My albums are original. I only have one song, a remake, "You're No Good," which is like a jazz fusion funk kind of new arrangement that Scott Petito and I did. Scott Petito actually did the arrangement, but I did the vocal arrangement. I
What's
told him how I
been
wanted to do it.
what's been one of your biggest inspirations in terms of like when you're doing your songwriting?
My heart, what I'm feeling at the time, what's in my heart. My inspiration is actually to inspire emotion out of my audience. And like I said, mainly love. I mean, I have one cheating song on my album, but I want to inspire creativity. Um, I want to stir some kind of emotion. And for me,
Yeah.
I just go out of my life experience. And so I write a lot about love in the different tempos and stuff like that. So musically speaking, it's hard to categorize me. You can't put me in a category. A lot of people say because I work with the top jazz people, Pete Levin and Scott and Petito and the jazz drummers that I use, Jeff Siegel, they're all known top jazz people. Um, but then I have, Jerry Marotta, who does everything, who's on my album, and Dave Spinoza. He's known to be for
Wow.
jazz, but he was on Paul McCartney's Red album, and everybody else's as well. So, Stefan, so I don't know, whatever inspires me that day.
Makes sense.
I know that Violet Eyes, for instance, Liz Taylor inspired that. Because she suffered with her back and many surgeries like I did. And when she died, we had a family connection. My brother did. I was in agony on a zero gravity chair. And yet, he was mourning her loss. And I wrote Violet Eyes for her as a tribute. Like
Wow.
and I was
beautiful.
medicated and I wrote it.
Wow.
So, so I just feel it. I can hear it. I don't know why I can't. I'm not a camera woman. I am not.
It's okay.
So,
I always have it. You have to like mount it
but-
up or set it up on something. That's the best way. But hey,
yeah,
I had the same problem on the
it
first
would
episode.
stay on. I have to keep it. I couldn't get it on my computer, as you know, Charles. So I got to keep it charging. Otherwise, it'll suck up and you'll lose me. So that's why I'm holding it.
Oh no.
I think I've got it now. But a lot of things inspire me. A breeze. I could be outside on my underneath my gazebo and hear birds and like, for instance, my new single, of course, My New Love, which is amazing. At 61, I found love again. So you single ladies
Congratulations.
out there, this is, and single men, I inspire you both never to give up on love. I was married
Wow.
for 30 years and then divorced. I married my first love, and I after this happened, it took 10 years to find love again. But be patient and don't settle. This is just my opinion, ladies and gentlemen. Do not settle. Stay with yourself. First of all, you can't really love someone completely until you know how to love yourself.
Yes.
So that is my only love advice. Love yourself
Very-
first among all things. And I loved myself enough that I said, no, I will not settle.
That's
I'm
good.
worth
That's a good.
it. Okay. And I'm going to wait. It's going to be lonely, but luckily I had my music community that I was always so busy. So that helps. So keep yourself busy until you find the right one, because let me tell you, you don't want the wrong one.
No.
It's well worth it.
Don't need that kind of
60
drama.
years old.
That's awesome.
So
Right.
what made you?
It's drama. There's enough.
Nope.
Oh, you there?
There she
What
is.
happened? I'm here.
I don't know. It was a little glitch.
Yeah,
I asked you what
I'm
made
here.
you decide.
There we go.
Can you hear? Can you hear me?
It's a little bit of
Yeah.
a lag, I think.
Yes, I can.
Oh, you can hear me? Okay.
Do you hear?
So what made you decide to pursue a career in entertainment? What was it that made you decide this?
I actually, this is funny. You're not going to believe. I was a young teenager, and I used to watch the Donnie and Marie show. And anyone remember that show? Yeah.
I do.
This is a long time ago.
Nick at Night.
I said to my mom, right. I want, I always loved music, and I always liked the old standards and stuff like that. I loved, Barry Manilow, um, but I loved the Supremes, and I loved Chicago too, all different bands. But I used to watch that variety show, and I said to my mom, I want to be a singer. Um, and so I tried, I did a couple play, show in high school and stuff like that. I started writing music, and when I was, I would say, 18. I didn't do it all the time, but I had a desire to write for my own reasons. And basically, and then, I was Streisand was a big, influence, and Manelli. And I just loved that style because it was so romantic. And sure enough, my first job was at the Nevele Hotel, if anyone remembers the Borscht Belt over there.
Yeah, very familiar
Wow.
with it.
In
I was just there 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
It was my
Very interesting.
1981.
Wow.
So I got my
It's
first
kind of interesting. The
big job
Nevele, we
as a
actually filmed in there.
Yep.
My last feature
You
film
did?
that Stefan, we filmed in the Nevele, and it's in ruins right now. I
It's
think they're
even
gonna.
worse since we were there. I went there 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's wild, but it's interesting how like such big acts were once playing in there, and it's left now to decay. But
I used to open up for them. Yeah.
it's amazing.
I used to have their
It's
coffee
sad.
table that they
It was
sold when
beautiful.
they went out of business.
Really?
So in
Really?
So to you, in your opinion, what are the best qualities that make a good musician?
I would have to say, just like in anything in life, they have to be honest, and they need to be dedicated to themselves and be true to themselves
Well,
and
Yep.
others that they're with. If whoever you're with, you have to be true to them.
True to yourself.
And you have to in life, you as well, our listeners, anything, whatever your passion, be true to yourself and your passion. You have to, it's hard, just like in acting, it's such a hard business. There's so much competition, but you need to embrace, you can't look at it as competition.
Yeah.
You have
No.
to, I believe in life, we have to elevate each other. That's why I love the jazz community, because they elevate each other. They celebrate each other's gifts. I mean, you don't have my gift, Charles or Stefan,
I sure
and
as
I
hell
don't
don't.
have your gift. There's no way.
no.
Whether even if you were women, we all have our unique gifts, and we have to embrace our gifts, and we have to glean from other people. I'm blessed to be surrounded. I had Pete Levin and Scott Petito, who kind of mentored me through my album. It was my first full-length album besides my Christian album from 2000. So many people, my promoter, who Keith Gilchrist, and my publicist. I'm sorry, I'm losing it right now. But Paula Ann Mitchell, people that, we need to be around people that elevate us, but that are true, and that aren't going to blow smoke.
We
They're
don't
going to
want
tell
that.
us the truth. They give us advice.
You don't need a
We
sycophant.
need to be able to take criticism. Right.
We were
We
just saying
want
this the other
people to
day.
be honest with us.
Our last show,
great.
we were talking with Lavari, another musical Billboard charting artist, who we were talking about more artists, actors, artists in general. They just need to support each other and help raise each other, because there's so much animosity amongst a lot of like talent because they feel like everything is a competition and like that you're possibly stealing their shine. So we really do. It's something I totally agree on as a filmmaker is artists, actors, you have to support each other to get to the next level and network.
Yeah, that was one thing I never understood. Like when I first started out, is like you'd see people come in and they'd be like very cagey if they knew that you did the same kind of work as them, and it was
you're stealing their clientele.
Yeah, it just
so
we all have to do it. That's all. And that's why I love all the radio stations that have the chats. So Jazzy Radio, Jazz Juice. Oh no, Jazz Juice doesn't have a chat, but on
sorry, we have a crawling human
show.
in the background. Well, too late.
Oh, that's good. R&B, jazz. We have so many. I meet so many wonderful artists from all over the world, the world, and
sorry guys,
and we collaborate. Now, and so yes, we have to, and in acting as well. Charles, I met so many people at your film festival. Your film festival was the first festival I ever attended.
Really?
Other than the Woodstock Film Festival, years ago, I used to go see movies. But as an artist, as I did my music video, I wrote it and co-produced it, and I was, of course, the executive producer as well, and starred in it, with my friend Steven, who made it possible for me, William Tenner.
It's another like romantic video. It's a very romantic
the title
music
of
video.
My album, yes, Pure Love, and it did very well, as you know. I was nominated at your festival, and won awards for it. And I can't wait to make my next one. I was supposed to make one for Your Smile, my new video now, but then COVID came around, and that we haven't been able to do it. So, but we will do it, and have, I actually want to make a video of that cheating song.
There's a lot of people. I don't know if you guys can see the comments, but there was a few people saying, "Who the hell cheated? We want to know."
I can't see it.
Well, after the video, you'll be able to read the comments. She's putting it out there, guys. Anyway. All right, cool. People make screwed up mistakes, but you know what? What do you do to inspire, energize a tired, boring audience?
I go into the audience.
Oh yeah, you go right in there, huh?
That's what I do. I'm old-fashioned that way and that's what I have such a wonderful audience, my fans that come to my shows. And I know when I did the Metropolitan Room, I was so blessed. They came from all over and to see me perform there. And I was very upset because I didn't have time afterwards. I'm very personable. I like that one-on-one experience with my audience. I am not afraid to go in the audience, grab someone, and have them spin me around during one of my, while the band is doing their thing.
Especially at like a wedding or something when you got people who want to get up.
But even if you go on my site, you'll see my rendition of the Carpenters. You'll have to forgive me because my mind is not where it should be tonight.
Unchained Melody,
a remake that I did for the show. No, they're Superstar. I rearranged it. With Pete Lavin. I said I wanted to do it for my CD release, and it's on my site. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to do a tribute to Karen Carpenter, tribute show.
That'd be great
This year. I'm gonna be preparing it. I asked the fans, and they said they'd love it. But I'll rearrange the songs the way I want, and I'll have my new partner, Dave, David Howard, which I believe is out there. I can't see the comments for some reason.
You'll see.
Look
when
up
the
there.
yeah.
But I'll see you later. But anyway,
What is the?
I will go out. What is the what?
There's a little bit of a. I apologize. I'm not trying to cut you off. There's a little bit of a lag.
Yeah.
So sometimes I think it's done and it continues. It's a little bit of a lag. I apologize.
So
it's okay though.
I hear you fine.
Okay. On this end, I get a little bit of a lag. I apologize, audience. But I'm curious, what is the first thing that you listen for when listening to one of your new songs? Like, what is the first thing that, like, when you're re-listening to the song you just recorded, what's the first thing that you're like, you're listening to, oh, this isn't going to work?
I always listen to the movement of the song. Or the instrumentation, is it going besides my vocal? I want to know that my pitch is perfect or close to it. Of course, I'm listening to my vocals, and as a producer, I'm always very critical of myself. It's hard to be the vocalist and the writer and arranger, and you're recording. I have a hard time while I'm recording because I have too many hats on at once, and you need to focus on one thing. Mm-hmm. So the instrumentation and the vocals is the first thing I will hear. Is the intro going right in there? Does it have enough to spark your ear as a listener? First, it's got to spark my ear, but I'm listening through your ears too. Like, okay, yeah. Does this sound something? It's in the few seconds have to catch the audience. So that's the main thing when I'm creating a song. And once I hear it, and then I'll go back and Scott and anyone who's worked with me will tell you I drive them crazy because I change. I'll change. No, do this over. I liked it that day in the studio, and then I listened to the playbacks on the way home, and I'm going, oh no, I don't like that. And I'll call them up. Oh, okay, we're gonna have to do it again. I don't like it. I drive them nuts. And it's very costly to do it that way. So I'm learning a different way.
So we're going back into this. We're going to dig into this a little bit. So do you and your band ever have creative differences? I'm not talking about people like smashing saxophones off like drum kits. But I mean, do you guys ever have like creative differences that like where you have to come to an understanding to like get past, or you guys just always feng shui together perfectly?
Absolutely not, because I'm a very specific person, and I'm a very strong-willed person as well. And being the only female, and I'm lucky and I'm blessed to have people that have true respect for me as a woman. But because I don't read music, I do everything by ear. Wow. I hear the instrumentation in my head, so I can't write a
not everybody can do that.
Yeah, so I hear it. I will hear like the whole band in my head, and now I have all these Grammy nominated musicians on award winners that I have to go and tell them. I'll sing it to them because I don't have a chart. I'll go, okay, it's in the key of F or whatever. I may know the key. I may not know the key. I do now, but at the time when I was doing the album. And they're all very top professionals, touring musicians. And so we used to butt heads, like say on the Cheating song. There was a part in that. They were like, this is not musically correct. And I'm like, well, I don't know if it's musically correct or not, but I hear it, so we're going to do it. And that's how I hear it. We need to try and do it. Oh, no, it's never going to work. It's never going to work. And I'm like, I understand what you're saying, but I'm sorry, I hear it. So just humor me.
Yeah.
I'm writing the check anyway, so they'll humor
That's
me.
the ultimate say so right there.
Uh, I, yeah, so it's going to take more time and it cost me a lot more money, but we did it, and guess what? It worked.
No.
We
See, that's
made it
good.
work. So we had a lot of those say it's not harmonically correct. That's not a harmonically correct the way you're singing it, or then I don't care if it's harmonically correct. I hear it like that, so let's try and make it work. And you know what? These guys were they're such professionals. They looked at me like I was nuts. But I worked with them for years. It took years to make the album.
Yeah, you
There's
know
a
what
certain
though?
part of crazy that everybody.
So,
Go ahead, sorry.
Every true
and
artist,
sometimes,
like, is a little, they have their vision, and it has to be seen through. And there's been many times, for myself included, like, there's something that I was told by professionals, don't do that. It's a mistake. But as someone with a vision, you want to see it through before you make an ultimate, choice.
And you want to prove them wrong too.
I admire it. I admire that you went for it. You took the chance. Sure. What is one thing?
And I learned a lot of art.
What is one thing that every song must have to be solid?
A great hook.
A great hook. Okay.
And that, a great hook. It has to
what would
have
be a great hook
that grabs you. What would be, you're putting me on the spot.
No, we understand.
It's all right.
I can't
No,
write a
that's
song
fine.
right now. But no, think of any song
That's what gets you jamming.
The melody, not only the hook, melody, even you can hear a whistle in a song and it will stick with you all day. Anything that's going to stick with the, so the melody line too is just as important, because you could hear a piano line that start a song and you'll do it all day long. You'll be singing it without knowing it. So that's a main thing with music
Christmas
too,
carols.
but it's perception as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what are you currently working on?
Sorry guys for the lag.
Currently, that's okay. Currently, I'm working on promoting my new single.
And where a lot of the people in the audience are wondering what the single is, like where they can find it.
Jinx.
You can go on my. You can go to Amazon, Apple Music. It's on Spotify. You can stream it. You go to my site, RoseannSureda.com, and buy it. I would really appreciate it. I think it's only $1.29. You can hear it on all the streaming lines there, but you go to my site and you can definitely hear it. But Apple Music has it, everything. The whole album, it's called Love Album as well. But the newest thing I just released, featuring David Howard, my buddy, and my future touring partner when we can get out there. And we're trying to work on getting a tour together again in Europe. We lost out on just like every other musician, on touring this past year, which was disappointing. But we're looking forward to that. And we are also writing, we're going to be collaborating, writing more songs together. David Howard, look him up, David Howard Music. He's an amazing guitarist and composer. Berkeley School of Music, which he just retired, so he can tour as much as he wants. But an amazing man. We literally worked together. We had a gig together last year, I shared with you, with David, on a walk-on role. Not for acting, but for singing. It was like my first walk-on role. And it was effortless. And so we decided to team up, and we did the song all virtual. And Scott Petito from NRS Productions helped make it come together for me. I went in there to actually, after we wrote it, he sent me a guitar track. He said, Ro, can you write me lyrics to this track that I'm going to send you? And I said, fine. And we did it that way. We went back and forth. I wrote some lyrics. Do you like this? And it was inspired, what we were going back to, what we were talking about, by love, falling in love with the man I love, Paul. And so blessed to have him in my life. He's just amazing. And I thought, he said the name of the song is Your Smile. And I thought of him right away. And boom, I wrote the lyrics very quickly.
So I want to tell the audience, I got the option to the opportunity to listen to the song last night, and it's, when I tell you, it has some really phenomenal guitar work, and it's really smooth. The vocals just come in there really smooth. The lyrical content is relatable for that feeling that you get when you really connect with somebody on like that spiritual level. We talk about that spiritual level. So it was really, really great. I really hope people do go check out the song online, Your Smile. It is fantastic, audience. Fantastic. Go check it out and share. When you do find it on YouTube or wherever you find it, share it all over. I know there's a bunch of people that are listening tonight. Josephine, we love you. Thank you for watching. Teresa, thank you for watching. Please share everywhere. There's a lot of people watching. But please share it everywhere, and you know,
out there watching.
It helps us to grow, honestly. Like if you share it, tag it, like it, comment, anything you can do, it'll help it to grow, and then be able to build up this community.
Yeah, and build up Roseann's viewership on that song. The song is wonderful, and I think it needs more views. Like and subscribe. Your Smile. Sorry if I cut you off there, but I just wanted to let it know from an outside perspective, because I'm not, you know, your music is, I always have a fond heart for like older style music and jazz and adult contemporary. I do. A lot of people think
you were talking about that last week too.
Yeah, how, you know, a lot of people in the new generation, they can't see themselves listening to different type of music. But the thing is, like, it's a feel good type music. And the way, I mean, maybe not the cheating song, but for the most part, the music brings you back to a feel good time. You know, my opinion.
It's a different kind of feel good.
And we need that right now. That's what I try to do, is to encourage people about, you know, love and life and just anything in life. And we need that now, especially now. It's just, everything is so discouraging out there. We have to focus. And you were talking about spirituality, Charles, and Stefan. And the thing is with spirit, I'm a Christian, and I have friends that are Buddhists. It doesn't matter what your religion is to me. I look at your heart. It's all about the heart. But if I've been through a lot in my life. The people who know me know my struggles. I don't publicize them a lot. But I've had a lot of struggles, 5 years to learn how to walk. But, you know, God was faithful. You know, doctors didn't have hope for me. But if you have hope in your heart, and I say this in my shows, I'm not afraid to say it. I don't preach at people. I don't believe in doing that. But you need to have hope. We need to give people hope. They're between depression, that people, I don't suffer with that, thank God. But I have been depressed because when I couldn't walk, I got depressed. I know what real darkness is like. I know, I've been there. I've had things happen. So I have great empathy for everybody's fight. And everybody has a fight, whether they say it or not. We all struggle somewhere in life, and we need hope, and we have to hold on to hope. And so spirituality, you have to go deep within yourself and find whatever that is. And
what are your thoughts on prayer?
religion you want to be, that's your choice. But we need to share positive, to be positive, no matter how much the darkness is around us in this world, in our lives, things that happen. Our hearts bleed for different reasons. Personally, I'd love everybody if you would personally do me a favor and pray for my best friend who is has stage 4 liver cancer, and I can't be with him right now, and that breaks my heart for him and for his family. Um, but I have hope. I have hope. I believe in miracles. I'm a miracle. I'm walking, I'm living, and I'm thriving in life.
And you have the
And
most
no
positive
matter what
outlook of anybody who's in
happens,
that situation. I mean, it's impressive because on top of that, you said you work in hospice, correct? That's a very difficult field to
yeah, I love
kind of keep your to keep your hopes up, and I I commend you for it.
I love working in hospice with hospice clients. I do also do music for them. I play guitar and I do transitional music. And because of my spirituality, I help them to, transition. And I love it when I'm able to do that, when a family is open to that as well. And I'll pray for my patients that want that. I'm open to do that as well. But thank you, Stefan. And I tell you, it's because I'm sorry, I'm emotional right now, but if I didn't have the people in our lives, it's so important to surround ourselves with positive people. There's enough negativity in this world, and even people in our families. And I'm lucky I don't have that in my family, but so many of people I know and that I've ministered to over the years have to deal with such negativity. And I know that in my life personally, when I was very unhappy, when I chose to change my mindset, I got better. And so that's why I push the even more so the positivity. But I had people surrounding me that were positive, even when I was so dark and negative in my life, that kept on pushing me and saying no. They used the spirituality aspect, and it was my faith in God that saw me through, and my faith sees me through everything right now. I mean, it's very hard for me. The people who know me know that I want to be a fixer all the time. I can't help it. I'm Puerto Rican, and so it's in my blood. But so I, uh, I tell people, no matter how bad it looks, like even for my mentor Eddie, and my heart is breaking, I am not giving up hope because I believe in miracles. And
Amen to that.
and just for even for myself, I want to get better so I can get on a plane and be there to help him. And
Fingers crossed.
so we have to see the blessings in our lives and look at what's going. So everything could be going to heck around us, but let's pick one thing that day that that is positive. We have someone to love. If it's not a person, it's a pet, it's something. The sun came out today. Hold on to it, grab it,
Gratitude.
and embrace it, and let it carry you through whatever you're going through. I use God. I mean, I cry out, I pray. I'm a prayer warrior. But you have something that you do when you get discouraged. Don't let people discourage you, especially in going back to this business. It's a discouragement, this business.
Yeah.
Big part of
It's
it.
an encouragement in a lot of areas, but really, you're a creative, any creative. I mean, try and get and congratulations, Charles. I love your book. I'm not
I appre-
telling you that just because I'm on your
I
show, but
appreciate it.
I tell you, it was
Thank you.
so relatable, and it was moving. And so I want to commend you for that. It was wonderful.
Thank
It
you.
really resonated with
Congratulations, man.
me. But whatever, Stefan, your pictures and your photographs and stuff like that, your creativeness, you know, you're a creative. All the
Yep.
singers and the guitarists
You
and
don't
all
do
the
it because it's
musicians
easy. You
out
do it
there
because
that
you
are
have to.
listening, but it's our passion. You got to do it. You can't let discouragement stop you. I'm
Yeah.
discouraged. Oh, so I didn't make the Billboard chart. Oh, whatever. I want to. It's not that I don't want to. My goal in life is to get a Grammy, and musically. And I'm 61, and I'm a female, and the business is
Plenty
not
of time.
easy for us females. As much, it's not easy for anyone, but as a female at a later age, there are challenges that I wouldn't have if I was younger. But I can't look at those challenges. I just got to create and
Yeah.
do my passion and just let that resonate, bring me joy, and to bring others joy. And hopefully, this coronavirus will be under control once everybody gets vaccinated. Um, and stuff, in my opinion, on the vaccination, I will give to you right now, is the Moderna one is better. That's all I'm going to say about that. But I had to stick
It's
that in.
inspired. It's
The
it's
nursery
truly
had to do that.
inspiring. It's truly inspiring how everything is kind of connected. And, for me personally, my spirituality and the things that can keep me grounded is continuingly to create, and how it's a collective art form to have all these people come together. And in a way, every production, I feel like I'm celebrating life for that moment.
It's part of what this
And
podcast is, even.
and yeah, it's sharing, the experience with other people. And for me, that interaction makes it all worth it. To me, that's my spiritual purge. And I feel like all of us artists, we're looking for that, continuing to create and better ourselves while being connected to this ever-growing community of spectators and audience. And, it's a beautiful thing. There is the criticism out there and the doubters, but for I guess the silver lining is they help you become more rigid and tough around the edges, but also to prove them wrong and better yourself at the same time. So it's extremely inspiring, and I really want to thank you for letting us know your personal journey, as well as your friend.
And we'll be praying for you.
Struggling, and it's so wild. Like I really want to talk about this. I don't want to. I want to kind of change this up a little bit, but so you worked on your first feature film. I called you up. You didn't know what was happening. I said, "Listen, I got this role for you in Oath to Injustice. I think you'd be perfect for it." And can you tell me a little bit about?
That was kind of like my phone call from you. I was like,
"Hey."
huh?
So you want to tell me a little bit about that experience?
Well, that was an amazing experience. When I first got your email, I thought it was an audition, and so I was like, "Oh, great! Great! I'd love to be a part of that." So come on down, you said, right? I came down, and I thought it was an audition, but I know from going out on other acting auditions, because I do dabble in acting a little, and I really enjoy being on set. I learn a lot, and because I had wanted to do a documentary, and I will, on chronic pain someday. I have the whole script in my head, and maybe you can help me with that. Anyway, I get there. I said, I gotta dress the part. And so I went there. I'm going for an audition. I have to look, like the person. And I get there, and you're like, they're filming. I'm like, what the heck? What do you mean? I was so nervous because I'm not a good read.
I didn't even know that. That's awesome.
at auditions for acting. Now, vocal audition, I could do it if I could sing, the script, I would have been great, So I get there. I was nervous as it was. I had everyone pray, and I'm like, oh, I got to audition. I really want this part. And I get there, you're filming. I was freaking out. And
I had no idea.
everyone was so wonderful to me.
Yeah,
and
the scene. Listen,
I'm mainly a vocalist. I don't do.
That scene was pretty wild to begin with.
Well, the scene came together wonderful. You have nothing to worry
It was
about.
Really a deep scene.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know,
I couldn't hear that. I don't know why.
Can you hear me now?
The film Oath.
Yeah, the film Oath opened.
But hold on just a second. I gotta turn it up more, I guess.
There you are.
Oath to Injustice.
Yeah, the film opens up with a funeral scene. It's the death of a police officer, and she's the mother of a dead police officer, and it's a really tragic scene. I've been telling everybody this. We filmed this in the summer of 2019, and since 2019, there's been a lot of craziness, corruption with police forces and stuff like that. And this film, just so much, it actually is very relevant to the times now. And I'm excited for you guys to see the film and to see Roseann's performance. But it's really interesting. I always like telling that because sometimes the most, unexpected things like that phone call to you and you showing up not realizing that we were filming turns out to be like a wonderful experience, And I'm not always easy to work with.
Amazing. You were very easy to work with. Everybody was very easy to work with for me on the day that I was on set. And everyone was so inviting and helpful. I was so nervous, and everyone.
Thank you to the nursing home also for letting us use that space.
Yeah.
It was in a nursing home.
To justify my behavior is probably because we were filming in a church. So,
it wasn't that
wonderful. You were a wonderful director. You really brought it out to me.
Thank you. So what?
I loved it. I can't wait to write a song for you for your next film.
That would be wonderful.
Remember me.
That would be cool, man.
We definitely
for your film.
So what is your ultimate
the theme, and I'll write it for you.
What is your ultimate dream gig if you can get it now?
My ultimate dream gig would be on the Grammys.
On the Grammys, okay.
Performing on the Grammys.
Receiving my Grammy and performing the song on the Grammys.
Listen, it's all possible.
My
you got
dream
time.
Gigs.
So I have one.
If you believe. Anything's possible if you believe. If you would have asked me 10 years ago, in 2000 and even as 2010 is when I started walking with the cane again. But if you would have asked me 10 years ago that I would have my album out, an original album, and had performed or had the music video done 5 years ago, that was a miracle, and that it happened, and the way it happened, and everyone that was involved. So, if you believe and you can envision it in your head, I laid in bed a lot of years, envisioning myself walking again, and professing it with my mouth, and then 5 years later, I could walk again. So you have to believe it. No matter what you say, any illness that you have, anyone that has illness out there, anything, a dream, it's never too late for your dreams. I don't care how old you are. I was brokenhearted to hear that Tony Bennett, who that would have been an ultimate gig, to sing with Tony Bennett. And unfortunately, he's not going to be performing much anymore. because he's got Alzheimer's, aggressive Alzheimer's. But the point is that just do it. What's yours?
My ultimate dream gig are so tough. I wish I had a quality budget to hire all professional crew. Everyone on the set gets paid. All locations are paid for. And, you know, because the biggest part of doing a production is like uncertainty. You have to do a lot of like bargaining. You have to do a lot of bartering, you know, for me, it would be to be able to have everyone take it seriously. Everyone's getting, paid on the production. And, you know, for the most part, crew does get paid for the most part. But I want everyone to feel like this is a duty to do the best that they can. Because at times you get people that you get one bad apple and everything kind of collapses. And to me, that's a big challenge. I don't know where Stefan went. I guess he accidentally dropped. But so for me, that's really what it is. But for the most part, I'm happy. I just, for me, if I can make this an entire career move, where this is what I do for a living, like make a film, produce it, continue the festivals bigger and bigger, because a lot of people don't know this. Like they see me as a filmmaker and a festival president and stuff like that. So they don't realize that I have a whole full-time job, and this is something I do. This is something I do as well. So it would be wonderful to just focus on the task at hand, the craft. You know what I'm saying? And that's really what it is.
Sorry about that, guys. I got booted.
Damn it.
That's.
But
it's just like I'd like to have my full 40 piece. Are you there, Stefan?
Yep.
He's here.
Yeah, you got.
There we go. So
nice 40-piece orchestra. Great.
What was that?
Orchestras.
Oh, you love orchestras. Oh, the 40-piece.
I said I also would love to have a 40-piece orchestra to be able to sing at Lincoln Center or something,
that would be amazing.
40-piece orchestra or something like that.
It's always good to have like
because
goals and dreams, though.
That's it. You have to shoot for the stars, and if you hit
for me, it's National
you'll be
Geographic.
Satisfied. That's what I say.
For me, it's National Geographic or a travel show.
So I got a fun question for you, Roseann.
Well,
fun one, okay? I don't want to keep this podcast going for 3 hours, but I want to give I got a couple more good ones, and you can do some final statement, whatever. But you got a lot of fans saying they love your smile. Hi, Roseann.
Thank you.
You are one positive soul. You got a lot of people writing stuff.
An inspiration.
So you're stranded on an island, okay? You can only bring 3 things with you. What would those 3 things be?
That's a good one, Charles. I would have to bring my guitar because then I could create. I would have to bring an island. I'd have to bring like my makeup. I'm stranded, but I need my makeup. No, that doesn't make sense.
Let's just say you have all your survival tools. You have all your survival tools and food you need. But these are 3 additional things.
Luxuries.
3 luxuries.
My boyfriend.
Aw. Because that actually was the second part. That was the second part of the question. That was what one guest would you bring,
and my twin
living or
brother.
dead?
Those are the 2 people I have to bring.
So you got your guitar, you got your boyfriend, your twin brother, and a guitar. All right.
That's great. I can't go anywhere without my.
It's amazing.
That's it.
Okay.
Your guitar, my camera.
Everyone knows.
If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
to heal the world.
Wow. Very good.
Healing
Majestic.
in every aspect. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally agree. And that's a great answer. It's a great answer, especially with the whole topic of spirituality and,
Definitely.
stopping the craze that's going on everywhere in the world. So I got one last question for you. And if the audience has anything, just write it in the comments right now. What is next? What can we expect? What is next?
Well, you can expect another album with my new partner, David Howard, amazing David Howard. We're going to be creating an album with a lot of different artists from all over. I have people that want me to write lyrics for their instrumentals. I want to do film, more acting, because you got me back in the acting bug again, Charles. But musically, I want to create more music. I want to learn how to play piano so that I could do film scores. And I want to focus on sync licensing my music because a lot of my songs have great little clips that I could license.
That would be great.
Through Sureda Music and publishing. I need to create money that comes in because something I didn't mention is that I am very big into charity, and I do missions, especially orphanages.
If you could
Besides all
recommend
my
a
other
charity for
charities,
people to donate to,
you can.
which one would it be?
I love St. Jude
Me too.
and Shriners. Because all the money, we have to be careful with our charities that we donate to because a lot of them have paid solicitation and the money does not go to
No. Goes to the CAO.
the charity it's supposed to go to. And that really gets under my skin. But of course, Meal on Wheels is a big thing for me, especially we need to take care of our local elderly, our vets, our homeless. We need to take care of anyone you see in need. Okay, you should help in your community and outside, but you should start at home first.
Yeah, I'm happy you brought that up.
And,
Just that small point about charity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm really happy you brought that up because there's so many charities out there, like she said, that if you research them, you realize the CEO is making like, $200,000 plus
on a nonprofit
a year on a nonprofit. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, for example, I was looking up a list. I believe Salvation Army, people donate to, they resell, the stuff. And actually, it's not that cheap. If you've been to Salvation Army, which I always go there for,
I've gotten some good
film.
deals there.
Yeah, but I've gone there for, film stuff, to buy like stuff that I feel like is disposable, like suits. You can still buy a suit for $50, $60, which might be a discount, but it was donated to them. And then the CEO might be making $100,000 and all the, you would think it's to like clothe the world, but it's really not. It's interesting you brought that up. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
but
definitely. But we're coming up on 2 hours and 10.
But the main thing is love is free. A smile is free. And I want to remind my audience out there that a smile can transform somebody's life. Because like I said before, you don't know what's going on in people's hearts and their minds. We all are wearing masks.
And you might be the last face that someone sees.
To break through the masks and touch someone's heart, just a smile. It doesn't cost you anything. I know that for myself, people have strangers just turned around in the grocery store and smiled at me, and I see the love of God in that. So that's also encouraging to remember that. So your smile. So there's another thing about my music. getting back to what I plan on doing. So there's a lot of things coming. We want to tour. I really pray for all my music friends, all my film friends, everyone to get back to work, and
Yeah.
that there will be miraculous provision for all of us during this COVID, and that we can get back to normalcy in life.
Please,
That's what
So I
we
want to
all want
encourage
that.
you in that. But please go to my website, and also I have merch now that has been created by the Taylor Management Group. That's on redbubble.com.
Redbubble.com.
You can go, please follow me on Sureda Music and at Sureda54 on Instagram and at Sureda on Twitter to see what's coming. I want to thank all the radio stations that are supporting my music and have always been there for me. Rita Ryan from WVKR in Poughkeepsie,
Mm-hmm.
she's always been there. Um, Keith from So Jazzy Radio, and Dwight Jenkins from I watch. They're probably playing me right now. R&B jazz.
It's pretty amazing.
Jazz, and I have the UK loves me, by the way, Charles.
We love you too.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
I love. I Frank too. You know what they say. You know, just like they said about it, you're always more appreciated somewhere else than in your own land. So, but I know who appreciates me here in my land, and I thank you, and I thank all the fans that are so faithful, encourage me to keep writing, to keep growing, and
Get healthy.
you know, liking my music and staying healthy, and just everybody that's there for me. And I couldn't do it without you because it is a very challenging time, as you all know. But especially my jazz group of musicians and vocalists and that are so encouraging on all these chats. It really, I've been cooped up in the house a lot, other than my couple hours getting out the last couple weeks to see my clients. And that keeps me going at night, besides of course my number one, my boyfriend, who is always a constant support. I love you, Paul. And
Stop sucking up. You're trying to butter him up for some good Valentine's Day gifts. You want the breakfast. You want the breakfast in bed, the bouquets of flowers, the big box of chocolate, you know, a teddy bear the size of you. You know, we want to go hiking up Mount Everest. No,
good luck with that part.
I want to thank you, Roseann, for
definitely.
I want to thank you so much for coming on our show. We had a blast. It's been extremely informative.
And
it's been inspirational to our audience. People are loving it. They're commenting up a storm. We posted your website up, and we're going to keep on sharing this. It's also going to be available on our YouTube channel. It's going to be downloaded and uploaded on there within a day. So you guys could always rewatch the video whenever you'd like. And we'd love to have you again sometime. And if you ever, you're about to release an album or you got another song you want to come on,
you can perform for us.
Yeah, you never know. We'll have fun with it.
You know what? I was planning on singing something, but I will come perform for you anytime. But right now I'm really
rest those lungs up,
and I don't have the breath. I don't have the lung breath in me right now, but I will, and I'd be honored. And I thank you so much for having me. Yeah. And please stay healthy, everybody, and stay safe. And remember, always look up. There's always a silver lining. I believe that. And I bless you all, and thank you for loving me unconditionally. And I just wish you only the best in life. And,
thank you, Roseann. You too.
It was
thank you so much, Roseann. Have a good night, Roseann.
Have a
All
great
right, guys.
night.
Have a good one.
Stefan, stay for a second.
Yep.
So Roseann was a beautiful, wonderful guest tonight. We thank you guys for staying and watching the show. I know this is a little lengthier episode. We went over some deep topics.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have a very interesting group of guests upcoming for the following next few weeks. Stephanie, you want to take it away?
Yep. The two that I have lined up right now are going to be Dickie Baxter. He is a Hudson Valley real estate. He's been on top of his game for a while now, and I recently did a live stream with him about a couple weeks ago about his business, and I think he'll have a lot of really cool insights. And then the other one is Steve Sapato, and he is a very well-known public speaker, and he's a life coach as well. So I think that they will have some really interesting views to go over.
It's amazing. And in the upcoming weeks, I want to keep this audience alive. And if you guys have other topics you'd like us to discuss, you know, send us a message, write in the comments what you want us to talk about. We have a lot of much harder topics. We've been kind of fluffing you guys a little bit, but we got some much harder topics to come. And we have some huge announcements to make. For those of you who know who I am, I run the Catskill International Film Festival. Keep your eyes peeled because we got some big announcements to make, as well as other films to be announced soon, as well as premieres. So stay tuned, guys. Thank you guys for watching this episode of the Thursday Exchange, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week, guys. Have a great night.
Bye-bye.